I saw those chairs and didn't know near as many of you as I should have prior to this day, but we're certainly glad you're here. I'm glad for my relatives, my in-laws, Mary's side of the family that was able to be with us. Of course, my mom and dad and my aunt and uncle here and other relatives. And if I keep going, I'm going to forget somebody, and then you're going to get mad at me, or I'll think you're mad at me. So I'm going to stop there. Romaine and Sarah have been together for 6 years, I think. Is it 6 years plus? And my first memories of Romaine, he would come over. It must have been your senior year, right? Yeah. And they didn't attend the same high school, but they met through a mutual friend. So he would come in and out occasionally, every week, and this didn't stop, and I didn't put a stop to it because it looked totally harmless at the time, and what I mean by that, I wasn't anticipating a wedding 6 years later, but there was nothing wrong in what they were doing. Sarah had never had a boyfriend, never wanted a boyfriend, so when he showed up, I was really surprised that he was coming back again and again and again, and there was never, as Sarah grew up, there was never any anticipation of, I can't wait till I'm married, my wedding day is going to be so special. That never came out of her mouth. She never had like stars that she would look up to. Like Madison, there's different singers and songs that she follows. And she's an avid fan. Sarah was not like that. She had no one she admired. Singer is true. Actor, if anything, people irritated her as a child. That was an inside joke in our family. She would become easily irritated with people from a young age, especially adults. And we'd have to correct her and say, that's not nice, and don't say that around anyone but us. And, she's obviously outgrown that. Her personality has really radically changed in that regard. But when Romaine would come around, I thought, well, this is strange, because she even told us, her mother and I, I'm never going to get married. I will not get married. Her intention was to live single forever. And there was never any talk, no boyfriend, no love notes, no phone calls, no nothing until Romaine showed up. And I am so glad that she has never known heartbreak, ever. She's never known what it's like to be disappointed in another person. Romaine did everything right for her. He had to be perfect, or it wouldn't have worked. And this is no exaggeration. He had to be absolutely ideal in every way, because she did not want a boyfriend. I can remember her being invited to a prom and bailing out at the last minute. And the parents called me and said, what's going on? Our son is he's got his outfit, and your daughter has really disappointed our son. And I don't know how I got out of that, but she was just fleeing every relationship that even smelled of friendship with another boy. So she invited Romaine into our home, and through the years I would see him come and go, and I didn't pry, I didn't inquire, I just watched, and there never was a tear shed, a bad mood following a night out. There was never anything I had to worry about, ever. And I wasn't in a place where I really could have afforded to worry or manage that situation. So she kept it close to her vest, never discussed him with me, but all I knew was that he was had to be treating her right, because she was doing well with it. And through the years, I began to wonder, how is this going to end? Because I couldn't imagine her getting married. And then there came a point in time where I realized, this can't end. There's no way this can end. Because a lot of relationships, they're on again, off again. You try one, it doesn't work, you follow into another. I'm grateful that my daughter will never have to experience that. He's the one, the only, the first, and the last for her. And I just watched from a distance, and when they announced their engagement, I wasn't surprised because I couldn't imagine them not following through. When I began to think about what it would be like for Romaine or Sarah to have either one walk away from the other, it was unimaginable for me. And I knew Sarah would not go through this with another individual. It was either going to work or she would remain single forever. And obviously Romaine, passed all, they weren't my tests. I was just watching to make sure she wasn't hurt or discouraged or disappointed in any way, shape, or form. That never happened. And so they just blended together through the years. It was always a friendship. And I learned later that during that senior year, Sarah told Romaine, we're not dating until I graduate. And it was really just semantics. They were still going out together, but Sarah would not call it a date. And at some point, the dating began and the courtship began. I imagine at some point in time they had to even entertain the conversation. You think we might get married someday? I don't know when that took place, but I'm glad it did. I'm very, very happy, to have the opportunity to see her marry and to know she's going into a family that is going to appreciate her.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
It's all right. Okay.
Obviously, I think she deserves that. And she needs the same chance I got. And I thought marriage was a good thing. And she gets to try this on her own now. And I wasn't emotional through any of this. At all.
But it's a good thing.
And I was only, I guess I got emotional when I heard the song on the night of the rehearsal, and I was going to practice walking her down the aisle. I thought, whoa. I can remember, doing this myself on the receiving end of the aisle. So that, it just kind of shortens life a lot. And you realize how it circles around. And apart from that, I didn't feel, I was excited. I was glad for her. I was relieved. But I wasn't emotional. And I didn't think I'd get emotional right now. Because she's a survivor. She's overcome a lot. All the kids have. And I just, kind of stayed out of their way, hoping for the best. And the best has happened so far. It really has for all of them. I'm proud of all my kids. Where they're going, it's a miracle to me that every one of them is doing better than I did when I was their age. I mean, I know they're behaving very well, or they had been, and now they can be fully husband and wife because I believe they've done it correctly. And I'm around a lot of people who don't do it right. And they've done it better than I think I did. And I have full faith and confidence. Everybody, says this is going to work. We know 50% of them don't work. I'm here to tell you, if this wasn't gonna work, she'd have bailed out a long time ago. Really. And I can only speak for Sarah, because I've never sat down with Romaine and had any types of talks. What are your intentions? Where are you going? What are you doing? I never felt that need, because I never sensed any drama or pressure from him. He's handled her perfectly. And I now get the rest of, what life I have left to appreciate him and to get to know him like his mom and dad do. And they will get to know Sarah the way I do. And the thing that got me really was those pictures of her when she was small, because those were the best memories I had. That was it. And I told somebody, I think my best days are behind me. And they happened at a young age. That's not to say life don't have nothing for me. But I have a lot of things in my past that I'm very grateful for. And those pictures reflect that time. So I can anticipate that for them, to have that same opportunity in life. I hope they agree to have kids. That was another thing Sarah never wanted. I hope you've had that discussion before tonight. Because kids irritated her too. It's true. It's really true. And Jonathan used to just set her off to no end. And now they're close. All the kids are as close as you'd want. We don't have any big family messes, that we have to pretend don't exist tonight. And I don't think they do either. I'm getting to know them. They've got a lot of people in their world. I think the majority of people here are from their side of this marriage. That's great. That's wonderful. And you all look great. And there's no opportunity tonight to be a fool on a dance floor with an open bar. So you can all leave at a reasonable hour. The photographer gets home, he's grateful, and we have no regrets and nothing permanent on tape that has to be edited later. With all that said, Romaine, I'm just so glad and grateful for you in her life. I love the pictures of you and her together, looking so happy. I think about you two being able to eat meals together, go to grocery stores together, do everything together. That's what marriage is, getting the chance to do life together. And you are the one and only, the first and the last that I will ever have a chance of addressing like this. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. It saved me a lot of grief. And I'm just so grateful to Mike and his wife Delcy, and the relatives of theirs I've got a chance to know just briefly. And I thank all of you for being here tonight on this special occasion. Thank you very much.
Didn't think you were going to get some good preaching tonight, did you? Huh?
Just Mike and Delcy, do you want to come say a few words and give a toast to the writing room? Everybody at your tables, you have the sparkling cider if you want to get that ready so that Mike can do the toast.
No pressure, is that what you said? thank you all for coming tonight. You have been able to have a glimpse of the kind of family that Sarah comes from, and you know now why we think so much of her. And we're so thrilled that Romaine and her are married now, and we're thrilled. I had some notes. I lost my keys today and I lost my notes. You don't have my notes, do you?
No?
I lost my, no, I didn't lose my son. I got a daughter. Before I do a toast, I'm going to try to remember some of my notes. I wanted to thank the folks that did the dinner tonight. I thought it was fabulous, and that was Rebecca Ellis and her crew. And I don't see Rebecca, but there's a lot of you in the room. I counted. There's like only 20 tables. There's like 25 or 30 ladies and unfortunate husbands and boyfriends in here helping set all this up, and you know who you are, and we really appreciate all the work that you all did to help Delcy with flowers and decorating and lights and things that we all notice, but as men, but don't really know the names of. We appreciate what you do for us. Pastor, thank you for the beautiful ceremony that we were able to enjoy with you. It was very meaningful. And thank you all for being here. Your encouragement and this, I mean, Romaine and Sarah, I want you guys to look out. These people love you, and they care about you, and they support you, and they're here to express that and give you that. And so I appreciate everybody that came and is able to show love to our kids like this. It's a thrill to see all of you and to meet, as Brian got to meet some of our friends, meet some of Sarah's family's friends. We've enjoyed that. A toast. I don't know if everybody has something in their glass, but if you do, I propose a toast to Romaine and Sarah. Sarah, your dad said something about kids. I won't get into that. But we love you. We toast you and Romaine we toast you and Sarah, and wish you the very best. In God's name. Cheers. You're right.
So, for all those of you who are my friends, I've got a girl now. Well, if I can just echo a little something, Brian was telling secrets on Sarah, and I won't tell that many on you, Lovey. But I knew that once he started dating Sarah and she would come over more and more often, and it didn't stop, because he was the one of my two children who would be, for instance, in the shoe store, labor over a dozen pairs of shoes and which one to pick, and then on the way home wish he'd gotten a different one, you know. So he could change his mind. So when he wasn't changing his mind away from Sarah, I was kind of really hoping that this was going to be the one. And so I'm so thankful that they have stayed together through thick and thin. They're best friends, and they have just supported and encouraged each other over the years. And we've just loved seeing that process grow, and it has just been a delight for me to kind of walk this path alongside Sarah for the last 100 days to hopefully make all her dreams come true today and keep it as stress-free. I mean, you know, you can't be completely stress-free, but as much as I could take off of her, I tried to. And hopefully you just have a fun day today. And that was my wish and my goal and my prayer. And I have been so encouraged. I can't count the number of texts throughout this past week from many of you, my dear friends, just letting me know you were praying for us in this whole process. And I have appreciated and sincerely felt those prayers. And so to what's next, besides cake is coming, but for the future and all we have to look forward to as an extended family, and we just are so blessed. So to Romaine and Sarah and the blending of our families. Do you guys want to?
Okay, now we're actually gonna cut the cake.